John Mitchell sat still as stone in the giant oval chamber of the Galactic Council. The room buzzed with alien voices. Many spoke at once. Some chirped. Others rumbled. The translation device in his ear turned it all into English. Mitchell was tired, not just from the 6-hour meeting. He was tired from 10 years as Earth's ambassador to this council, tired of being ignored. Today was supposed to be different. Earth had sent proof of rogue ships crossing into human space. The Vrol had attacked 3 mining outposts. 17 people had died. But the council did not care. "The evidence is unclear," said Zex Norva. His blue skin wrinkled around his 6 eyes. The Norva were one of the 5 elder races that controlled the council. Humans often mistake regular space traffic for threats. "With respect," Mitchell said, "we have sensor readings and visual confirmation." The Vrolg ships fired first. Valther of the Trell race fluttered her wing membranes. "Perhaps your mining operations were in disputed territory." "They were not," Mitchell said. He kept his voice calm. "The territory was granted to Earth under the Proxima Agreement, the same agreement you all signed." "Young races often misinterpret our laws," said High Counselor Elax. His voice dripped with fake sympathy. "It takes centuries to truly understand galactic politics." Mitchell clenched his fists under the table. Humans had joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. In that time, they had followed every rule, signed every treaty. And still, the elder races treated them like children. The Elaxians, Trell, Norva, Zentari, and Folks had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They allowed newer races to join the council, but never gave them real power. Earth had learned this the hard way. "We request defensive support under Article 7 of the Mutual Protection Treaty," Mitchell said. "The Vrolg are building up forces near Tau City. Our colony there is at risk." The council members looked at each other. Some made sounds that Mitchell knew were laughter. "We will study the situation," said Zex Norva. "Perhaps in a few cycles, we can discuss proper evidence collection with your people." Mitchell knew what that meant. Nothing would happen, just like the last time, and the time before that. The council took a vote. 5 elder races voted against immediate action. 27 younger races, including Earth, were overruled. Again, something broke inside Mitchell. He had sent messages to Earth last night. He had received his final orders this morning. He had hoped it wouldn't come to this. But the council had made their choice. Mitchell stood up. The chamber went quiet. "Ambassador Mitchell," said High Counselor Elax, "the council has not dismissed you." Without a word, Mitchell unpinned the translator from his jacket. He placed it on the table. Then he picked up the small metal case he had brought with him. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Valther. Mitchell opened the case and removed a single datapad. He placed it on the table. "Humanity no longer recognizes the authority of this council," Mitchell said. His voice was steady. "We withdraw, effective immediately." The chamber erupted. Some delegates jumped to their feet. Others shouted questions. The elder races stared in shock. "You cannot simply leave the council," said Zex Norva. "There are procedures, treaties, obligations." "Read the datapad," Mitchell said. "You'll find that Earth has met all legal requirements for withdrawal. We have canceled trade agreements. We have settled all debts. We have removed our personnel from council space stations." "This is absurd," said the Folks representative. "Your species would not survive without council protection." Mitchell smiled for the first time. "We'll take our chances." He turned his back on the council and walked toward the door. Behind him, the chamber descended into chaos. Delegates shouted. Translators struggled to keep up. The elder races conferred urgently. None of them noticed the small device Mitchell left under his chair. In 30 minutes, it would transmit the council's reaction to Earth. President Harmon would want to know exactly how the council took the news. Mitchell did not look back as the doors closed behind him. Humanity had tried diplomacy for 50 years. Now they would try independence. President Elaine Harmon watched the recording of Mitchell's exit from the council for the third time. She smiled as the alien delegates jumped from their seats in shock. The plan had worked perfectly. "Play it again," she said to her aide. "I want to see the Alaxian's face when Mitchell drops the datapad." The aide started to replay the video, but a knock at the door interrupted them. Defense Secretary Alan Garcia entered the Oval Office with a thick folder marked Aurora Protocol in red letters. "Madam President," Garcia said, "Mitchell's shuttle has cleared council space. He will be home in 3 days." Harmon nodded. "Any response from the council yet?" "They're in emergency session," Garcia said. "Our spy drones report a lot of shouting and threats. Exactly what we expected." Harmon stood and walked to the large window overlooking the White House lawn. Earth looked peaceful today. Most citizens had no idea what had just happened among the stars. "Did we do the right thing, Ellen?" she asked quietly. Garcia placed the folder on her desk. "We tried their way for 50 years. They never saw us as equals. They never would." Harmon turned back to face him. "Begin Aurora Protocol." "Full deployment." Garcia nodded and opened the folder. Inside were detailed plans for Earth's next steps. Plans that had been developed in secret for over a decade. "Dr. Winters is ready to unveil the quantum shield network," Garcia said. "Admiral Powell has the fleet on standby. All hidden weapons platforms are operational." "What about our colonies?" Harmon asked. "We sent the coded message an hour ago. All human worlds are implementing security measures. The Mars defense grid is already online." The door opened again, and a woman in a lab coat entered. Dr. Lisa Winters looked tired but excited. Her work on quantum shield technology had been Earth's most closely guarded secret. "It's working, Madam President," Winters said. "All test sites report successful activation. The shields can stop any weapon the Council races have shown us." "And the ones they haven't shown us?" Harmon asked. Winters smiled. "That's the beauty of quantum adaptation. The shields learn from each attack. They get stronger." Garcia checked his tablet as it beeped with a new message. "Admiral Powell reports the Earth Defense Fleet is moving into position. All ships hidden from Council sensors." For decades, Earth had pretended to follow Council technology restrictions, all while building ships and weapons far beyond what the elder races thought possible. The deception had been complex and dangerous, but now the truth would come out. "What are people saying?" Harmon asked, nodding toward the window. "The news is spreading," Garcia said. "Mostly celebration. People are tired of Council rules limiting our growth. There are some protests from the Unity Party, but nothing major." Harmon picked up a small glass model of Earth from her desk. So small in the vastness of space, so vulnerable. "The Council will not let us go easily," she said. "We know," Winters replied. "That's why we've prepared." On a military base in Nevada, Colonel Samantha Rodriguez watched her soldiers prepare for possible combat. As a veteran of skirmishes with the Frog, she knew what alien warfare looked like. Many of her troops did not. "Check those SEALs again," she ordered as her squad inspected their combat suits. "Council weapons target oxygen molecules. One leak means death." Her second-in-command approached with a tablet. "Colonel, we've received deployment orders. The Council has dispatched ships toward Earth." Rodriguez wasn't surprised. The elder races were predictable in their arrogance. "How many ships?" she asked. 20 cruisers, 5 dreadnoughts." Rodriguez nodded. The number matched their predictions. The Council would try to scare Earth with a show of force. They always underestimated humans. "Tell the troops we move out in 6 hours," she said. "And make sure everyone understands. This isn't a drill. This is Independence Day." Across Earth and its colonies, humans prepared for the coming storm. For 50 years, they had played by Council rules. Now they would play by their own. The emergency Council chamber glowed with blue light. All 500 seats were filled. Many delegates had traveled through faster-than-light jumps to attend. No race had ever left the Galactic Council before. High Chancellor Zex Norva stood at the center platform. His 6 eyes blinked slowly as he addressed the gathered aliens. "Order," he shouted over the noise. "The Council will have order." The room gradually quieted. Fear hung in the air like a fog. "Humanity's action is nothing more than childish posturing," Zex Norva said. "They will return when they realize they cannot survive alone." Trade Minister Valther fluttered her wing membranes nervously. "Chancellor, this withdrawal could disrupt trade routes across 17 sectors. Humans control key mining operations on their frontier worlds." "They need our markets more than we need their minerals," Zex Norva replied. From the back of the chamber, Ambassador Ketsen of the Zentari rose to speak. The Zentari were the youngest of the elder races, having joined the ruling 5 only 1,000 years ago. "We should not underestimate humans," Ketsen said. "They learn and adapt faster than any species we have encountered." Several delegates murmured in agreement. Others hissed in disagreement. "What do you suggest, Ambassador?" Zex Norva asked with thinly veiled annoyance. "Send a delegation to Earth," Ketsen said. "Not with threats, but with genuine offers of reform." The Alaxian representative laughed, a sound like stones grinding together. "Reform. The Council has maintained peace for 10,000 years. Our ways do not need changing." After hours of debate, the Council voted. They would send a delegation to Earth with a simple message: rejoin the Council with reduced status or face complete isolation. No trade, no aid, no protection. As the delegates filed out, a Folks officer named Laurel remained behind. The Folks handled most Council military operations. Laurel had studied humans for years. In his quarters, Laurel reviewed classified reports about Earth. Something wasn't right. Council sensors showed normal activity in human space. Standard ships, standard weapons. But Laurel had collected rumors from traders and scouts. Stories of strange energy readings near Jupiter. Tales of unusually fast human ships. Reports of mining operations that produced far more than they reported to Council tax collectors. Laurel compiled these reports and sent them to Council Military Command. The response came quickly. Assessment rejected. Human technology remains within expected parameters. Laurel stared at the message in disbelief. The Council was making a mistake, a potentially dangerous one. He decided to investigate on his own. He accessed the deep archives, searching for patterns in human behavior. What he found disturbed him. Every time the Council had denied humans something, they had stopped asking after a few attempts. Laurel had thought this meant acceptance. Now he wondered if it meant they had found another way. When denied faster-than-light drive improvements, humans had stopped requesting technical help. When refused access to quantum communication, they had built more traditional relay stations. Had they really given up? Or had they developed these technologies in secret? Laurel sent a private message to Ketsen of the Zentari. Request meeting regarding human capabilities. Evidence suggests Council assessments may be flawed. As he waited for a response, Laurel pulled up the latest sensor readings from the Sol system. Energy signatures around Earth had changed in the past 12 hours. Power usage had spiked on Mars and the Moon. The humans were preparing for something. Not cowering in fear as the Chancellor had predicted. On the Council delegation ship approaching Earth, Ambassador Chet Alax practiced his speech. It was full of warnings and subtle threats, the type of speech that had always worked on younger races. Little did he know that humans were not planning to listen. They were planning to demonstrate. The Council delegation expected to land at the International Spaceport in Geneva. Instead, their ship received new coordinates. A human voice directed them to approach Earth orbit and prepare for docking. When they emerged from light speed, they saw it. A massive warship unlike any human vessel they had seen before. It was sleek and dark, with strange blue lights pulsing along its hull. "This is the Earth Defense Ship Defiant," said a calm voice over the comm. "Welcome to Earth space. Please follow docking instructions." Ambassador Chet Alax turned to his fellow delegates with concern in his 7 eyes. This was not the greeting they had anticipated. The humans should not have a ship of this size. whispered Trade Minister Valther. Council restrictions limit their vessels to half these dimensions. Their shuttle docked in a bay larger than some council meeting halls. When the doors opened, they were met by a human in a dark blue uniform with gold markings on the shoulders. "Welcome aboard the Defiant," said Admiral Frank Powell. "If you'll follow me, we've prepared a tour before your meeting." The delegates exchanged nervous glances. This was not the protocol for council ultimatums. They were supposed to be received by cowering diplomats, not confident military leaders. Powell led them through corridors filled with busy crew members. None of the humans seemed concerned about the council's presence. Some barely looked up from their work. "This ship was commissioned 3 months ago," Powell explained casually. "She's the first of our new Sovereign-class vessels. We have 12 more under construction." Shet Alax could not hide his shock. "Impossible. Our monitoring stations would have detected such construction." Powell smiled. "Would they? Interesting." The tour continued to the ship's engine room. There, a woman in a white lab coat waited for them. "This is Dr. Lisa Winters, our lead quantum physicist," Powell said. Winters nodded to the delegates. "Welcome. I thought you might be interested in our propulsion system. It's based on quantum field manipulation, much more efficient than the standard drives the Council uses." The Zentari delegate moved closer to examine the glowing core of the engine. "This technology is beyond what humans should possess. It appears to be at least level 7. Level 9, actually," Winters corrected. "We've made some improvements to the basic theory." Valther's wing membranes fluttered in agitation. "The Council restricts all non-elder races to level 4 technology. This is a violation of Treaty 2997. "A treaty we no longer recognize," Powell reminded them. The tour continued to the weapons bay, the shield generators, and finally to a conference room. Each stop revealed technology that humans should not have. Technology the Council had deliberately kept from younger races for thousands of years. In the conference room, a large hologram of Earth's President Harmon floated above the table. "Honorable delegates," she said, her voice firm but polite. "I understand you have come with a message from the Council." Shet Alax stepped forward, attempting to regain control of the situation. "President Harmon, the Council demands that Earth reconsider its rash action. Return to the Council or face complete isolation. Your world cannot survive without Council protection and trade." Harmon's hologram smiled. "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" "It is reality," Shet Alax said. "Without Council support, the Vrolg or Cracks will surely attack your colonies. Your technology is no match for theirs." Dr. Winters pulled a small device from her pocket. "About that," she said, pressing a button. Suddenly, all Council communication devices went dead. The translators in the delegates' ears stopped working. The emergency beacons in their suits shut down. "What have you done?" demanded Shet Alax in the Council common language. "A simple disruption field," Winters explained. "It only affects Council technology, just a small demonstration of what we can do." Powell stepped forward. "We tried diplomacy for 50 years. We followed your rules. We asked nicely for help when we needed it. And what did the Council do? They ignored us. They dismissed us. They treated us like children." "This is but a taste," said President Harmon's hologram. "We will ensure our survival by our own means now." The device in Winter's hand beeped, and she pressed the button again. The Council technology reactivated. "Now," said Harmon, "shall we discuss new terms for our relationship? As equals this time." As the Council delegation returned to their worlds in disarray, humanity began to move. 50 years of secret planning unfolded across the solar system. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Governor Kyle Bennett stood in a hidden control room. He pressed his hand against a scanner, then spoke clearly. "Authorization, Bennett, Alpha 79. Activate Vulcan shipyards." Around him, screens lit up with green confirmation lights. Outside, in the vacuum of space, massive doors began to open on what had appeared to be ordinary mining asteroids. Inside these hollow rocks were shipyards, dozens of them, all hidden from council sensors by special jamming technology. Bennett watched as the first new ships moved out of their construction base, sleek destroyers with weapons that the council thought were still theoretical, fast scout ships with stealth systems that could slip past any detection grid. "How long until the main fleet is ready?" Bennett asked his assistant. 3 weeks, sir. We've been building the components for years. Now we just need to assemble them." Bennett nodded. "And the council?" "Still arguing about what to do. Their delegation's report has caused quite a stir." On Mars, another part of humanity's plan was coming to life. General Maria Vasquez stood on a high observation platform, watching as giant metal structures rose from the red sand. For decades, Mars had been dotted with what appeared to be mining operations. Tall towers and vast underground complexes that supposedly extracted valuable minerals. In reality, they were parts of a planet-wide defense grid. "Status report," Vasquez said into her comm unit. "All systems coming online, General," came the response. "Defense towers at 82% power. Orbital platforms deploying. Shield generators warming up." Vasquez felt a mix of pride and worry. The Mars defense grid was the most powerful in human space. If the Council attacked, they would aim for Earth first. Mars would be the surprise they didn't expect. Back on Earth, former Ambassador John Mitchell prepared for his new role. President Harmon had appointed him as Earth's first independent envoy. His job: reach out to other races who might support humanity against the Council. Mitchell studied reports on his tablet. Many non-council races had suffered under the elder species rule. The reptilian Drexel had been denied faster-than-light technology for centuries. The crystalline Vor had been restricted from expanding to new star systems. "We have a diplomatic shuttle ready, sir," said his aide. "The Drexel ambassador has agreed to meet you in neutral space." Mitchell nodded. "And our gift. Ready for delivery. Full technical specs for quantum shield technology." This was humanity's new approach. Instead of begging for scraps from the Council, they would freely share their advances with other independent species, build alliances based on mutual benefit, not control and restriction. Meanwhile, Council spies were sending urgent reports to their masters. Human ships were appearing all over the sector. Defense systems were activating around Earth colonies. Trade routes were being rerouted. On the Foltz homeworld, Intelligence Officer Laurel gave his report to a room of military leaders. "The humans have been preparing for independence for years," he said, showing images of the hidden shipyards. "Our assessments of their technology were wrong. Dangerously wrong." "How did they hide this from us?" demanded Fleet Commander Bex. "They built their advanced technology in places we don't monitor closely," Laurel explained. "They kept using old ships for trade and diplomatic missions. They created false energy signatures to mask their true power levels." "And now?" asked another officer. "Now they're revealing everything at once," Laurel said. "It's a carefully coordinated strategic emergence. They're showing strength on all fronts to prevent us from targeting any single weakness." The Council races had always seen humans as impatient, emotional creatures. But this plan showed patience and discipline beyond what they thought possible. Humans had played the long game. They had acted weak while growing strong. And now the Council was scrambling to respond. Their comfortable control of the galaxy was beginning to slip away. The Council chambers had never seen such chaos. After 2 weeks of debate, the 5 elder races finally made a decision. They would not accept humanity's independence. "The precedent is too dangerous," said High Chancellor Zex Norva. "If humans succeed, other races will follow." The Folks, known for their military power, offered a solution. A containment action, led by Admiral Vox, would surround Earth's solar system with overwhelming force, not to destroy humans, but to isolate them until they surrendered. Admiral Vox stood before the Council, proud and confident. "My fleet will establish a blockade at the edge of the Sol system, 200 ships, including 20 dreadnoughts." Humans will have no choice but to rejoin the Council on our terms. Only the Zenturi voiced concern. What if humans resist? Asked Ambassador Kitson. Admiral Vox laughed. With what? Even with their hidden technology, they cannot match a full Council fleet. 3 days later, Vox's fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. They positioned themselves near the orbit of Pluto, ready to push inward toward Earth. Scan the area, Vox ordered from the bridge of his command ship. Show me what we face. The scan revealed nothing unusual. Empty space, just as expected. Begin Phase 1, Vox said. Move forward at half speed. The massive fleet began to advance. As they passed Pluto's orbit, sensors suddenly detected something new. Admiral, call the sensor officer. We're picking up small objects ahead. Hundreds of them. Vox frowned. Identify. They appear to be automated platforms of some kind. They're powering up. Before Vox could respond, space lit up around his fleet. The small objects were defense platforms with technology that shouldn't exist according to Council records. They fired strange energy pulses that disrupted shield systems on Council ships. Impossible, Vox muttered. How did they deploy these without our knowledge? Admiral, a communications officer called out. We're receiving a transmission from a human ship. On the main screen appeared Admiral Frank Powell of Earth, Council Fleet. This is the EDS Defiant. You have entered sovereign human space without permission. Power down your weapons and withdraw. Vox's skin darkened with anger. You dare to give me orders. This is Council space. All space is Council space. Powell's expression remained calm. Not anymore. We've given you a chance to leave peacefully. I suggest you take it. Forward. Vox ordered his fleet. Push through these toys. Show these humans the true power of the Council. The fleet surged forward, firing at the defense platforms. Many platforms were destroyed, but the Council ships took damage too. As they approached the orbit of Neptune, a new threat appeared. Energy signatures detected around Io, reported a sensor officer. It's some kind of defense network. Suddenly, from behind the moons of Jupiter and from hiding places among the outer planets, human ships appeared. Not the few dozen vessels the Council knew about, but hundreds. They moved in coordinated groups, striking the Council fleet from multiple directions at once. Admiral Powell to Council fleet. Came the transmission again. This is your final warning. Withdraw now, or we will be forced to defend ourselves with full strength. Vox slammed his fist on his command console. All ships push forward. Target their largest vessels. Show no mercy. What followed became known throughout the galaxy as the Kuiper Massacre. The human ships didn't fight like the Council expected. They used hit-and-run tactics, striking from behind dwarf planets and comets. Their weapons bypassed Council shields as if they weren't there. The Io defense network activated, sending thousands of automated drones and quantum mines into battle. Council ships found their navigation systems hacked, their weapons systems locked. Within 6 hours, a third of Vox's fleet was destroyed or disabled. The proud admiral watched in horror as his carefully planned operation collapsed. Retreat, he finally ordered, his voice hollow. All ships, emergency jump to Rally Point Beta. As the remaining Council ships fled, Admiral Powell watched from the bridge of the Defiant. Send word to Earth, he told his communications officer. The Council's first attack has been repelled, but they will be back. News of the Council's defeat spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. For thousands of years, the elder races had seemed unbeatable. Now, a young species had not only stood up to them, but won a decisive battle. On the water world of Caldera, the local government called an emergency meeting. The Calderans had been council members for 3 centuries, but had always been treated as second class. If humans can survive outside the council, perhaps we can too, said Premier Wavecrest. By the end of the day, Caldera announced its withdrawal from all council treaties. Within a week, the Wex Collective and 4 other mid-tier species followed. The Drexel, who had already signed a defense pact with Earth, took an even bolder step. They released thousands of records they had secretly gathered over centuries. The records showed how the elder races had systematically kept newer species from advancing. "The Council claims to protect us," read the Drexel statement, "but they have been protecting themselves from us." The evidence was damning. Secret meetings where Council leaders admitted to suppressing technology, orders to sabotage research projects that might let younger races catch up, trade rules designed to keep resources flowing to elder worlds. On Earth, Colonel Samantha Rodriguez received new orders. Her Special Forces team was to travel to Proxima Centauri, humanity's closest colony world beyond Sol. Intelligence suggested that an Alaxian research facility there had been secretly controlling human scientists. Rodriguez and her team dropped from orbit in stealth pods, landing 5 miles from the facility. They moved through the alien forest silently, their advanced combat suits making them nearly invisible. "This doesn't look like a normal research center," said her second-in-command, looking through binoculars. "Those are prison buildings." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "The Council told us this was a joint scientific mission. Looks like that was a lie." They breached the facility at night. Instead of the expected resistance, they found only a small security force. The Alaxians had not expected anyone to find this place, let alone attack it. Inside, Rodriguez discovered hundreds of human scientists. Some had been there for years, forced to work on technology that was sent directly to Alaxian worlds. Many didn't even know that Earth had left the Council. "We thought we were helping build better communication systems," said one scientist, Dr. Greg Walsh. "But they were using our work to monitor other species." As the rescued scientists were evacuated, Rodriguez's team downloaded the facility's database. It revealed dozens of similar sites on other human colony worlds, places where the Council had been secretly exploiting human innovation while limiting what humans themselves could access. Back on Earth, President Harmon prepared to address the galaxy. The evidence from the Proxima facility, combined with the Drexel records, painted a clear picture of Council manipulation. Harmon stood before the cameras, looking calm but determined. Her speech was broadcast on all frequencies, translated into every known language. "For too long, the elder races have claimed to guide us for our own good," she said. "They spoke of peace and cooperation while ensuring they remained in power. Today, we offer a different path." She outlined a new alliance, one based on mutual respect and genuine cooperation. Any species that wished to develop freely, without Council oversight, was welcome to join. "We do not seek to rule as the Council did," Harmon continued. "We seek partners, equals who share knowledge rather than hoard it, friends who defend each other rather than exploit each other." As she spoke, Council worlds watched in growing alarm. The carefully constructed power structure that had lasted for millennia was beginning to crumble. On the Folk's homeworld, Admiral Vox faced a military tribunal for his failure. The once proud officer stood with his head bowed. "How could you lose to humans?" demanded the head judicator. "We underestimated them," Vox said simply, "and I fear we continue to do so." 6 months had passed since humanity left the Galactic Council. The galaxy had changed more in that short time than in the previous 1,000 years. On Luna Base, Earth's moon colony, representatives from 27 former Council races gathered in a new chamber. Unlike the Council's ornate hall with its elevated seats for elder races, this room had a circular table. All seats were the same size and height. John Mitchell, now serving as Earth's representative to what was being called the Accord of Free Species, watched as the final signatures were added to the founding document. "Today marks a new beginning," said Ziv, the Drexel ambassador. "For too long, we accepted the Council's claim that their control was for our protection. Now we protect each other as equals." The Accord established 3 core principles: open sharing of technology, mutual defense, and fair trade. It was everything the Council had promised but never delivered. Mitchell thought back to that day 6 months ago when he had walked out of the Council chamber. He had hoped for independence. He had never imagined leading a galactic revolution. On Centauri Prime, the youngest of the elder races faced internal turmoil. Reformist leaders who had long questioned council policies had gained power after the Kuiper massacre. "We must adapt or perish," said First Minister Luzin to her people. "For too long we have followed the other elder races in suppressing younger species. This was not only wrong but short-sighted." The Centauri government sent a private message to Earth. They wished to discuss terms for becoming the first elder race to approach the Accord for membership. Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Winters stood in her laboratory, surrounded by government officials and scientists. Before them hovered what looked like a small black hole, perfectly contained in an energy field. "The final tests confirm it," Winters said. "The wormhole is stable. We can now create fixed transport points between any two locations in space." This breakthrough would make the Accord's cooperation practical across vast distances. Ships would no longer need to spend weeks in faster-than-light travel between member worlds. A journey from Earth to the farthest Accord world would take minutes. "How soon can we deploy the network?" asked President Harmon. "The first 5 nodes will be operational next month," Winters replied. "We're starting with Earth, Mars, Proxima Centauri, Drexel Prime, and the Calderon homeworld. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the remaining council races prepared for war. The Alaxians and Norva, the oldest of the elder species, refused to accept the new reality. They built up massive fleets and fortified their borders. "We cannot allow this rebellion to stand," declared High Chancellor Zex Norva. "The Accord must be crushed before more races join them." But their position weakened daily. More races left the council. Several elder race colonies declared independence from their homeworlds. The flow of resources that had sustained the elder race's dominance for millennia was drying up. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Frank Powell and President Harmon studied a galactic map showing the spreading influence of the Accord. Blue lights indicated member worlds. Yellow showed those in negotiations to join. Red marked those still loyal to the Council. Each day, more yellow lights turned blue. Each week, red lights turned yellow. They had their chance, Harmon said, looking at the shrinking red areas. "We offered them a seat at the table for 50 years. Powell nodded. "Now we build our own table, and they're the ones who fear being left out." A young officer approached with a message. "Madam President, we've received word that the Folg's ruling council has fallen. The new government is requesting membership in the Accord." Harmon smiled. Another elder race was joining the new order. "Tell them we'll welcome their representatives," she said, "as equals, not rulers." Mitchell, watching from across the room, felt a sense of pride. Humanity had done more than just leave the council's table. They had built a better one, where all species could sit together with dignity and respect. The council's dread had come true, and the galaxy was better for it.